everybody. Welcome back for another episode of the I Don't Give a Care podcast. If you're new here, my name's Jessie, and if you're coming back, then thank you again for joining me. This podcast is all about just talking about everything that's on our minds, not holding back, and just putting everything on the table because here we don't give a care. And we're going to talk about it whether people like it or not. We are right in the beginning of Aries season, so happy Aries season to all those that celebrate. I'm just letting you know that I absolutely love Aries and I love Aries season. And this is like the real New Year's because it goes in alignment with like spring. It's basically like the new year, everything's melting, the flowers are going to be coming out, the sun is coming out, everything's fresh and new. So I love Aries season. And also, my boyfriend is an Aries. His birthday is today, actually, as I'm filming it. And my brother Ryan, his birthday is on March 26th, 2 days after. And I thought because it's my brother's birthday, or would have been his birthday, it would have been his 33rd birthday. So for those of you who don't know, he actually passed away when he was 29 in 2022. And that was like 3.5 years ago now, almost 4 years. I don't know where the fuck the time's gone, but whatever. Time isn't real, anyways. If you know, you know. Now we're at this point where it will be his 33rd birthday. It's kind of fucking crazy to me. So I thought it would be a perfect time to talk about how to celebrate people even in death. How to celebrate someone, a loved one, or someone that's passed on, because guess what? They deserve to still be celebrated even if they've passed on to the other side. If you're here with me, then you probably have similar beliefs as me and believe in the spiritual realm, because I definitely do. And it's been proven by scientists and so much research over time that energy does not die. It just gets transferred. When somebody dies, like their body, their vessel, their energy is still here. It's still with you every day. So your loved ones, they don't go anywhere. They're basically like in the room next over and you just can't see them. They can still hear you talking to them. They can still send you signs, and I get goddamn signs from my brother every single day, and so does my family. So, let's get into this episode today because I love talking about this stuff, and we have done so many things over the past few years since my brother passed away to honor him and to still celebrate him even in his death. And this has been something that's been very helpful for us to kind of navigate through our grief with him because as I said before, grief is a lifelong journey, and we will be grieving him for the rest of our lives, unfortunately. Like, it's going to be a long time grieving him until we see him again. But until then, we can still celebrate him. We can still talk about him. We can still celebrate his legacy and talk about all of his stories and the impact that he's left on us. So, I'm going to talk about a few of the ways that I have personally celebrated him and honored him, and how my family continues to do that as well. The first one that I did, and I worked on this soon after he passed away, like probably a few months after, because basically we didn't have a funeral. After he passed away, we were like, yeah, we're not having a funeral. It was so big of a shock, and there was just so much going on. We moved at the same time, like just so many things, and we just didn't want to have a funeral. Like, that wasn't my brother. Like, he would have fucking hated having a funeral. So what we did was we planned for months to have this huge party for him, like a celebration of life pretty much. And my brother, he was all about having like big parties, celebrating with like food, and he would always talk about having feast and cooking all this food. He also loved having pig roast for some reason. So him and all of his friends in like his hometown, they would get together and have these like big pig roast. I don't know. So that's what we did for his celebration. And what we did was we planned to have it on his 30th birthday. Yeah, on March 25th, 2023, almost exactly 3 years ago, we had his celebration of life, which I guess was technically his funeral, I guess in a way. And we did a few things to kind of honor him that day. So the first thing I started working on was this t-shirt. And basically the vision I had for this t-shirt was a band t-shirt because my brother was a huge band guy and he loved music. He loved going to like death metal concerts and punk rock concerts. Like, yeah, he loved that stuff, and he was just all about wearing grungy clothes. And yeah, 90s kid. He had the blue hair at one point, the spiky blue hair. He was a skateboarder. He was a snowboarder. He listened to like all of those bands. He played Offspring for me and my sister when I was like probably 7 years old to scare off. This is kind of bad, but I mean, they deserved it. So this is a little side story because I have to tell the story. We were living in this little town, like middle of nowhere. We had a lot of like Mennonite neighbors, and they were kind of mean to my family because I don't know, they just had different beliefs than us. And because my mom worked at a bar when we were younger, they knew that. And like she would dress a little different to like go to the bar because you have to dress up for that. Some of them would say stuff to me and my sister. And I guess one day one of them kicked a ball into her backyard, and my brother was babysitting us at the time. He was probably like, he was young. He was like probably 14, 15 years old. You know what he did? He tried to scare them off our lawn by literally blasting You're Gonna Go Far Kid by The Offspring through the entire house, and it like echoed through the neighborhood and the backyard, and the kid ran away with the ball. He ran away all scared. And I don't know, me and my sister were just like in shock. We're like, how could he do that? But we thought it was a legendary. I mean, you might think it's mean, but whatever. He was a kid. We were kids. Get over it. And these people were being mean to us at the time. And my brother was being a protective older brother. So that's what he did. All right. So that's the story of that. I don't know how I got off topic. My point was he was a huge band guy, punk kid, 90s kid, grunge kid. He loved all of that shit. So my vision of this t-shirt was to make it like a band t-shirt. On the front, we got King Sharp. So my brother's name was Ryan Sharp. His last name was Sharp, and all of his friends, everybody knew him as Sharpie. He always referred to himself as the king. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but he was the king. Like, he would portray that he was like this cocky guy with an ego, but he wasn't. Like, he had the biggest heart. He was so humble. So when he told people to call him king, it was like as a joke. But like his friends called him King Sharp or Sharpie and all that. So that's why I put at the front. The middle is a lion that I added to there because my brother, he was obsessed with lions, and I think lions are kind of like a sign of respect and just someone that is well respected and high up in power, and they're very courageous. So that is why I chose to put that on there. And also because one of his favorite movies was The Lion King. So The Lion King is all about like owning who you are and just having that strength and courage. And biggest line that they use is remember who you are. And another quote here is, look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. Mufasa. And that is actually something we put on his bench. And it was actually at the skateboard park that they built in our hometown. And we put a bench there with his name and the quote from Lion King. Yeah, my brother, that definitely, like, that's just him. Like, he was a very loyal, very courageous. He had a lot of strength. I mean, he had to go through a lot as a kid, especially with his allergies. And he went through a lot as a kid. And a lot of this I didn't even know until after his death. So I just have a lot of respect for him. But he loved lions and the Lion King. And if you watch the movie, the story actually resembles a lot of like my brother's story and how he has a son now, because his son, he was only 7 weeks old. He was a little baby at the time that my brother passed away. So the story kind of reminds me of that. It's all about Simba growing up without a dad, which is kind of like, which is Lowen now. Like, he has to grow up without his dad and kind of just remember who he is without his dad. I think it's like kind of crazy. It's like the circle of life, and that's also what The Lion King is all about too. It's just beautiful. It's all about the circle of life, how everything is connected, all of the animals, all of the nature, and just remembering who you are, looking up at the stars and knowing that that's your home and where you came from, and your great ancestors are above guiding you. So I just think is beautiful. So that is why I get off track. I told you, but just stick with me here. That is why I put a line on the front. And then I put established 1993 because he was a 93 baby. And then the back is my favorite part because this is where it really starts to feel like a true band tee, a little grunge t-shirt. And my vision here was to obviously make it look like that. And you know how on the back of band t-shirts or concert t-shirts, it's like a list of all their tour dates? Well, I did that, but I did it with my brother's infamous sayings, and he had a fucking lot of them. But he would just say the most wildest, craziest things all the time that didn't even make sense, and some of them did make sense. They were just so weird. Like, what was wrong with him? I don't know, but he was the funniest guy I've ever met. Let me read you some of the sayings. This is what it looks like. The back is actually a picture of him. So I put a silhouette picture of him, and I love that picture. And you can just see like his hair, him smiling. I just thought it was a cool way to put him in there. And then the bottom is his nickname, Sharpie. Yeah. Okay, so let me read you some of the sayings, and I'll put a picture up on the screen as well so you can see it. So, I treasure your friendship. You would say that to everybody. I treasure your friendship. Or you would say, if he wanted you to do something like, say, take a shot with him, or like anything at all, anything you could think of, you'd be like, do it for the friendship. And it was like kind of his way of like bribing people, and it was really funny, and it would get us to do something every time. Dog shit loser. So anybody that pissed him off or he didn't approve of or he didn't like, he called them a dog shit loser. And he would also tell them to do better. Do better was one of them. Mother Goose. That was his nickname for our mom. I don't even give a care. That's the inspiration for the title of this podcast. I don't even give a care. Because he would say that all the time. He just like, I don't give a care. And I was like, what are you saying? But it was just his way of saying he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't care. So, yeah. So basically, I made this shirt, and my goal was to get it done before his 30th birthday celebration of life party, which was March 2023. So I had months to work on it, and it was kind of something I just dove into after his death. Creativity was like my outlet for my grief, and it really helped me, and this was one of the ways. And I honestly feel like he helped me create this shirt. Like, it feels so much like Ryan that it's insane. And I just know he's so proud of it. And side note, we actually have had a few psychic readings over the last few years where Ryan came through. And one of the things he said to the psychic was something about t-shirts, and she was confused. He was just going on about these t-shirts that he loved them so much, and he was talking about these ones, like, and I explained to her, I was like, yeah, I made t-shirts for everybody, we all wore them to his celebration of life and his birthday, so that's what we did with them. We got a bunch of them printed, like over 100, and we got everybody to wear them, so we all still wear them to this day. As you can see, I'm wearing them now. My family loves them. They helped me make them too. Like, they gave me ideas. They told me what they liked and didn't like about them. And that was, one of our biggest ways of honoring him was through this. I'll talk a little bit more about his celebration of life, though. So basically, we wanted it to be good. We wanted to be a party for Ryan to celebrate him because he deserved to be celebrated and honored. We held it in his hometown. I think there was probably 200 people there that came, his friends, all of our family, just so many people that came. A lot of people showed up though, and I was very happy about that. We played drinking games, and we had cornhole. My mom made these like custom cornhole boards that said his sayings on them as well, like the ones that are on his t-shirt. We had a cake with all of his pictures on there. We had all of his pictures up, his childhood pictures, and just memories on boards. We were playing all of his favorite music throughout the whole day. Like, we made this big playlist of all this rock music, punk music. It was really fun. We did a lot of things to honor him that day, and we put a lot of planning into it. Had so much food, had a huge feast. We had a pig roast, everything he would love, and we just knew he was so proud of it. And the reason I know this actually is because another psychic reading, he actually brought up the pig roast. He said something about pig roast, and the psychic kept going, he keeps talking about this pig roast. Like, he won't stop going on and on and on about it. And we were all laughing because we're like, yeah, we know he was damn proud of his fucking pig roast. Like, like, he just loved it. Like, he was such a simple man. Like, the simplest things would make him so happy. Like, food, music, spending time with family, just anything like that in life. The simple pleasures in life just made him so happy. And yeah, a pig roast was one of them. So that was his celebration. That was his t-shirt. What else did we do? So before my brother passed away, me, him, and my sister, we all talked about getting matching sibling tattoos. And we were kind of planning it out. We didn't know what to get, but we knew we wanted to be cool. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to do that with him. But after he passed away, me and my sister, I'll put a picture in, but basically it's a baby Simba, the baby Simba symbol from The Lion King. Put I treasure our friendship right under it, because that is what he would always say to me and my sister and to other people. I treasure your friendship. So that was one of the ways we also honored him, and I love it. I skipped over a major way that I honored him, and it was creating a legacy video for my brother. So, as you know, I love making videos, I love editing, I love telling stories and making people feel something through films. So, one of the ways I knew I had to honor my brother and to tell his story and his legacy was through a legacy video. And we had so many childhood videos from an old vintage camcorder. And it was also bittersweet because it helped me just like see our childhood with him in a different way that I never got to look back on, because this a lot of this was my first time watching these camcorder childhood videos and just kind of seeing the brother he was and our dynamic as siblings. It was really bittersweet. So the first part of the video that I created, you can go watch it if you'd like. I would really appreciate that if you did, because it means so much to me. It's a little long. It's 15 minutes long, but you have to realize like it was his like life. Like I put in pictures of his friends, his family. I put in anything that I thought was important and relevant to his life and who he was as a person. So basically I started the his legacy video as like an honor to his childhood, all of our childhood videos, and then I got into talking about who he was as a person when he grew up, and I kind of just talked about all of the things that made him him and made him who he was and made him Ryan, and we talked about his friends, his family, how he loved food, adventures, and then the part that really made me emotional, and I think there wasn't a dry eye at his celebration of life because this is when I showed the video. So I put in this video of Lowen. He was just a little baby and when he was born, and I showed videos of him and Lowen bonding and just like the kind of father he got to be for the short time that they had. And it was just very sweet and sentimental and just so bittersweet. I'm super proud of this video, and I know he would have loved it too. I mean, I don't know if he would have loved everybody seeing his life and like all of his pictures and videos like that, but I know he doesn't care anymore because he's not here to be like embarrassed or shy about it. So that is one of the ways that I also honored him, and it took me so long to make and edit, and I'm just really proud of it, and I just know that it represents him and who he was to me and to everybody else. We did a lot during the first year of his like death. 2022 to 2023 was like the year we did like a lot. I think because right when a death happens, you become really inspired and just like motivated to honor them, and the grief hasn't really kicked in yet. You're doing all of these ways possible to kind of honor their legacy and their spirit. So another thing we did that year was in April. So April 28th is known as the day of mourning. So it's for anybody that has lost their life to unsafe work or just workplaces that did not value your safety or your life. And if you don't know, that's how my brother passed away, was because, well, he went to work and he never came back because they didn't value his health issues, or they didn't take them seriously. And unfortunately, after many complaints and trips to the hospitals, this was ultimately the time that like took his life, because of his allergy issues and just like where he was being sent to work, and he wasn't supposed to be there, but he still went. And if you don't know, every city in Ontario, I think, they have a day of mourning gathering. It was our first day of mourning, and we went to go to represent my brother, and we heard other people's stories as well. It was very hard, but we knew we had to do it. And the news was there, and we were like, oh my God, maybe we should try to get my brother's story out there, because I mean, he wasn't getting any justice. I mean, his workplace tried to replace him the week after, and they have still to this day, 3.5 years later, we went to court and everything, have not taken any accountability or acknowledged his death or any part of it, even though there was so much proof in his text messages, emails, all of that. And they, of course, deleted that and hid that. His coworkers lied on his behalf, and he considered a lot of these coworkers his friends and family, and a lot of them he grew up with. And after his death, they just turned on his back, except for one of them, one person out of all of them, and it was one of his childhood best friends. Anyways, a lot of these guys just didn't have his back and didn't stand up for him. And so there was basically no justice for my brother. Like, it was sad because my brother, the type of person he was, he always stood up for people and did what was right. He had these very strong morals. He just stood up for the underdogs, and he always would. He would say anything and everything and do what's right. When we were there and we saw the news there, we were like, okay, we need to get a story out there. And we're fucking angry, obviously. Yeah, so me and my sister, on a whim, we went into the news channel. I'll put the news clip in here. We went up and we just kind of told his story and just how they didn't value him in his life, and kind of just put his story out there. And they did a little segment of him and put like pictures of him and videos of him in there.
A gloomy, wet day, but that didn't stop the Visser sisters from attending their first National Mourning Day event to honor their late brother, Ryan.
Our brother had a fatal allergic reaction to peanuts and other stuff like wheat, soy, and they kept repeatedly sending him to places that jeopardized his health and his breathing, to the point where he even needed a breathing tank.
Ryan Sharp was 29 years old when he died on the job just 7 months ago.
He passed out, and what happened was his heart stopped for about a half an hour. And they took him to the hospital, but obviously there was too much brain damage, and he passed away a couple days later.
Younger sisters Sydney and Jessie went to Guelph's National Mourning Day event in hopes of sharing their brother's story with the community.
So for his specific situation, like listening to him when he said that he couldn't go, and just taking it more seriously, I guess, finding someone else to do the job.
As for the Visser sisters, their goal is simple: to carry on Ryan's legacy and help others who have experienced the loss of a family member due to a workplace incident.
It's just kind of heartbreaking to see how many lives this affects and how many other families have to go through the same thing. And this shouldn't happen to anyone else. I wouldn't wish this on anyone, to lose a family member this way, especially when it can be prevented.
So that was another way we kind of got to honor him and just get his story out there. And that was something we were very proud of doing. And we know he would have been proud too. I mean, he probably would have been a little embarrassed, but it was on the news. So that was a first step. And we still have so many more plans on kind of getting his story out there and like talking about it. We want to talk to the news again this year, and I think my mom wants to do like a bigger speech. Obviously, it's been a few years now since he passed away. It's been 3.5 years. It will now be his 3rd birthday we've celebrated without him, and his last birthday that we ever celebrated with him was 4 years ago, and it was his 29th birthday. So yeah, we've had to do some celebrating without him physically here. And the way we've done that is just by doing all of the things that he would have wanted to do. We just all get together, we do Sharpie shots, and we all get shot glasses together. My mom actually made a bunch of them and engraved them. Basically, we all put our shot glasses together and we're like, Sharpie, Sharpie, Sharpie. And then we do a shot for him because, yeah, he would always do a shot and make us do it for the friendship.
Sharpie, 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 Sharpie. Baby girl, I get it. I'm a badness. Give me the badness. Bring sweetie badness. Look how she
Good. That's good.
And what's cute now is Lowen, his son, is getting to the age where he's like, he knows what we're doing and talking about. And he'll always go, Sharpie, Sharpie. And he knows it's about his dad. And it's just so cute. Like, it's just so sweet. And it's our way of kind of like thinking about him and celebrating him. And then another thing we do is like having a big feast. As my brother loved food, he loved getting together and hosting people and cooking food for people. Like it was one of his love languages. We just made all of his favorite foods, like just so many of them, and just do the things he loved to do. And like being at the trailer is another thing he loved, like camping, having a fire, sitting at the trailer all together, listening to music, just having a good time. Like he was just very simple, and we're very simple, like my family. So we just do things like that. And we also bring his ashes around. We bring them around and sprinkle them everywhere we go. So we've brought them to concerts with us that were his favorite bands. We've brought them to the beach. We bring them everywhere with us and just sprinkle him and bring him everywhere we go. So that's another way we kind of celebrate and honor him. Honoring and remembering my brother has been a really important part of my grief journey and my family's grief journey, because it makes us feel close to him and connected to him. And he deserves to be remembered. Like at the end of the day, his legacy will not die as long as I'm here, as long as my family's here. His legacy will not die. His name will not die with him. His memory will not die. And that is how we keep him alive and his spirit alive, is because, well, his spirit is alive. He sends us signs all the time that he's still here with us, that he's listening. He has came to all of us in our dreams and just like talked to us through that way. So that was beautiful. Anytime we're thinking about him or needing to see a sign from him, or we need to see him, Sharp truck will be there. And we've seen it so many times. And there's a few different sharp trucks, actually. There's another one that's just spelled sharp. We see cardinals, which represent loved ones that have passed, blue jays, and my brother loved blue jays. I see his number all the time, which is 934. And I see his birthday all the time, 326. Yeah, we just see so many signs from him. But I'll talk about that at some other time because I could really get deep into that about seeing signs from loved ones. And where he really is, it's just another like realm, another dimension. And we just can't see him physically because like his vessel died here, but he is still here. Like his energy is still here. And that's been proven to us through psychic readings, through all the signs he sends us, through our dreams. Just his energy, feeling his energy. He's still here with us, and it has been amazing to have him here with us and just celebrate him and continuing to keep him alive with us because it's fucking hard here without him. Like, I miss him so much, and obviously I would prefer for him to fucking physically be here and to have his energy here and hear his voice and see his hair and his smile and all of that again, but unfortunately not in this lifetime will that be possible. So this is how we are going to remember him for the rest of his life. But I would just love to end this by saying, like, if you have a passed on loved one, whether it is a sibling, a parent, a family member, maybe it was a very loved pet that you had, just continue talking to them and honoring them and their memory and remembering them because they do not die. Energy does not die. They will always be with you. And I know that's so hard to hear and people hate hearing that, but for me, it now brings me comfort knowing that my brother and his energy is always with me. And I feel like his energy has gone into me sometimes, like his confidence, his strength, his courage, just who he is as a person at his core. I feel like I have gotten some of those traits and I feel his energy. And yeah, it's just been beautiful. And if you have somebody that's passed on, though, please remember them and talk about them. Say their fucking name. Like, they deserve to be remembered. Their name deserves to be said. If people around you don't want to hear you talk about them or hear their name and they just kind of dismiss you or shut them out or shut out their memories, then they're not people you want in your life. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that's happened to me many times throughout these past few years of my grieving journey with talking about my brother and just kind of needing to talk about him. And people get uncomfortable by it because they think you're kind of trying to get sympathy or it's like a touchy subject, but that's not the case at all. We want to talk about our loved ones because we don't want their memory to die and we miss them and we just love them. Like, why can't we talk about them? You know what I mean? Find those people that you can trust enough to talk about them and who will even bring them up to you sometimes and ask you about them. And I am lucky to have found such an amazing boyfriend who's never met my brother, by the way, and their birthdays are 2 days apart, but Nick, my boyfriend, he'll act like he knows Ryan, and he even says sometimes like he feels like he's met him, and I just know they would have been best friends. Like, they are so much alike, but like so different at the same time. And like their humor is similar. They're both tradesmen. Like, they're both so funny. And we all tell Nick stories about my brother, and he always talks about how he feels like he knew him. And sometimes he'll bring him up or be like, oh, and like he'll refer to stories we told him about Ryan, or like traits or characteristics we've told him, and he'll bring them up and like in conversation be like, oh, is this something Ryan would do? Or oh, like just funny things like that. And so it just means a lot to me when people do that, and especially when Nick does that, because it just shows me that you care and that you're going on this grief journey with me, even if you haven't personally met my brother and know him like I did or loved him like I did. But I can still feel the love and that you love me because you're bringing up his name and his memories and honoring him that way. So I think it's important to talk about this stuff on just ways that we can continue to honor people that have passed away instead of acting like they never existed and acting like just because their physical body, their physical vessel has died, that they have to die along with it, like their spirit and their energy, because that is not the case. They are still around and they're still here with you. If you have gotten this far and you listened to this, I appreciate you so much, and I am just really happy that you're here listening, and I really hope it resonated with you. And I would honestly love to hear any stories or the ways that you have honored a passed on loved one or a pet or something like that. I would love to hear about that because I think it's so important that we do these things. If you like this episode, if you like this podcast, and you like everything I'm about and talking about, I would so appreciate if you followed the podcast on Spotify, if you subscribed on YouTube, if you left a like, a comment, a review, anything like that. And also let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. But anyways, thank you again for joining me for another week. And if you're new here, thank you for joining me. And I'm so happy to have you here. I can't wait to see you next week. And happy birthday to all the Aries out there. I love you guys. Mwah. Happy birthday, Ryan, and happy birthday, Nick. I love you guys. My two favorite Aries in the world. And on Wednesdays, we don't give a care.